things will get better. Cause trouble won't last forever. Can't let it get you down. No, no, no. Not down. Cause you won't you down there. You around. Oh, gotta walk with your head. Get your head up. Oh, get your head. Believe it, you can breathe. You can do it. The sky. Can't let it get you down. Have you ever felt the need to get away from it all? The person that you care about the most just broke your heart. Just to be in the same room with them, you can't stand the thought. I've been there, yeah, 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 yeah. You don't know if your relationship is worth holding on. How much longer can you take being treated so wrong? You're confused on what to do, but no matter what you do, you're gonna make it through. Yeah. No, 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 not now. Come too far to do. Come too far to turn around.
Good morning, everyone. We'll be getting started here shortly. You're listening to the tunes of Yolanda Adams, A Song of Faith. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you, Mom. Good morning to see you. Those of you who are on the YouTube channel, welcome. I pray things are going well with you in this beautiful day. We are rising into, this is Sunday, the 22nd of May, 2022, the 22nd, 2022. I'm here in the Chicagoland area this morning. I am here to host our gathering, our once a month gathering that we're jumping back off. Host our gathering, our once a month gathering that we're jumping back off here in the western suburbs. We're in Elmhurst or Lombard, Illinois this morning at 11 a.m. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, get yourself together and come on out and get inside the space. We're going to do some really interesting things here in Chicago, and I would love to have your input. Good to see you, Takesha. Good morning to you in Detroit. Good morning to Tia. How are you doing down in St. Louis this morning? We're going to be getting started here shortly. Not going to keep you long this morning. I have a couple things to attend to, so I'm really going to keep it really brief, short, and succinct. All right, all right. Don't let nobody turn you around. All right, you've come too far. Don't let nobody get you down or turn you around. Awesome, awesome. Let me come forward with there you go. Well, it's good to see each of you this morning. Welcome to Serendipity Sunday. I am Asar, also known as Greg Stanton, the facilitator for this platform each and every Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You see, I'm sitting here on the 10th floor of the Embassy Suites, looking east. I can see the horizon. I can see Chicago skyline is really beautiful from where I'm at. I'm probably about 15 to 20 miles due west of Chicago this morning, so I can see the beautiful skyline. I think Chicago has one of the best skylines in the entire world, and this area is one of the areas I really enjoy. The Lombard, Oak Brook area, western suburbs, a lot of affluence, a lot of wealth. You can see the energy of it. The people are really embracing this. Just really a lot of positive things going on here. So let us get started this morning. I'm looking here to see who's all showing up. Good to see you, Angela. I hope I see you later this morning. Good to see you, Courtney, down there in the Atlanta area. And I want to get Atlanta off the ground. So every month, I would love to get this thing rolling here in the areas that we have a footprint. St. Louis, we're going to jump off Juneteenth. On that Sunday of Juneteenth, we're going to open up the ministry there. Phoenix, I have a footprint there. We're looking to do something this spring, not this spring, this fall. Kind of hot right now. Atlanta, I'm looking for that group of guys. So that group that's down in Atlanta, it's probably about 8 of you all down there that are loosely associated. Let us pull together, and I would love to get something scheduled to come into Atlanta. Let's shoot for, we can do July. 4th of July weekend will be an awesome weekend, the first weekend in July for Atlanta. So let's get those Atlanta folks together. So those are the areas right now. So let us jump in this morning. It's good to see each of you. To my YouTube family, if this is your first time with us, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, don't do it now. Wait until there's something said that you can say, okay, this brother's coming down my lane. I'm on the same page with them. We're vibrating. Might not agree with everything I'm saying, but I'm saying what needs to be said. Then you should hit that subscribe button at that time and hit that little bell. That way, if you want to be notified when there is a new presentation or a live meeting going on, you can come into the space. Now, all of you, if you're part of Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living, and when I say part of, those who are partnerships, those who are associates of the ministry, those who just come by and be a friend of the ministry, you can go to Oasis Spiritual Center on the YouTube channel. We have an Oasis Spiritual Center, and there's over 150 some odd on-demand videos. I've taught on a lot of things. I'm not one-dimensional. I teach on a lot of stuff. If you want to know more about something, go out there, hit that search, type in a keyword, and maybe something will come up. Now, let us get started this morning. As we jump off this morning, I'm excited. I'm excited because it's a new day called Today, a gift, a present called the presence. This morning, I want to talk to you very briefly inside of the topic of evidence. Not only does your life show enough evidence, I remember that commercial for the late Apostle Fred Price out in California. He had this trailer that came on, evidence. Does your life show enough evidence? And evidence will put you away. And that came to me the other night while I listen to a lot of things. I read a lot of things. I spend more time reading and engaging conversations, on social media platforms, hearing different perspectives. I'm part of a couple communities. One community that I'm part of is the Christian community. I've been part of that for a very long time. I'm part of the cultural community, the cultural movement. I'm part of the Kemetic community. So you got the cultural community that says, they're down with those things that expand the Black community. The Kemetic community is down with those things that say, let us go back to our original origins and move this ball down the road. Whatever took us, gave us our historical greatness, let's revisit those things. So I'm part of those communities, but I'm also finding that each of those communities are in a diatribe. They're negatively approaching one another. You don't have to let your light shine by casting darkness on someone else. I'm saying this, we're at that place in time where so many talking heads. There's so much noise out there. There's individuals who have our communities captivated just by tradition, the traditional church. People go there for a variety of reasons. They go there for the socialization. They go there for the music. They go there for the entertainment. They go there many times because they believe that if I don't attend church, if I'm not involved with Christianity, I'm going to lose my salvation. So a lot of people inside Christianity, pastors have these audiences by default. But then when they leave on Sunday or during this entire pandemic, they've been asking questions. They've been doing Google searches. They've been caught in conversations with denominations beyond the one that they were steeped in. So now there's a lot of questions. So there's an audience. Then you have the cultural audience. You have that movement that I grew up inside of, not necessarily overtly, but covertly, the influence of the Black Power movement. That was the golden age, the 60s. I'm a 60s child. So I saw a lot of things. I was experienced a lot of things in the midst of my awareness of the things. About 8 or 9, 68, 69, a lot of things jumping off in the Black community. We have the riots, we have the murders, we have the national media capturing what was happening to Black folk. We had some positive things. I'm a child of the 60s and 1970. I remember when we went to school, not only did they play the national anthem, but they played the Black national anthem, and we stood for both, and we learned the song and we sang the song. I remember James Brown, "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm proud." What that was really an affirming song, particularly for young little Black kids, nappy head, dark skin Black kids who were growing up in a time was if it was Black, get back. Okay. If you were not light skinned, white skinned, you couldn't get in. I mean, this is the reality of things, what was going on back in the day. This is the reality of a little boy when nobody was filtering this for me. Nobody was interpreting it for me, but I was born for a time such as this. So I saw what was happening in the 60s. I saw in the 70s how we were living large. We were moving to some of the more affluent communities. We were leaving our communities because what we wanted to have was not available in our communities, not realizing that we could have transformed our communities. Now we look back in those communities from the 70s. Now those communities are either desolate or there's undergoing revitalization. And when you look around that community, most of the people that's showing up don't look like you and I. Then I ultimately had an encounter with the Kemetic movement back in the early 80s, late 80s. I started really delving into Black psychology, what led me into the conversation of spirituality, understanding the Kemetic way of life. And so I've been living in three worlds. And so I hear all this conversation, and oftentimes one is talking about the other, most times putting the other down. But I'm saying embrace what has embraced you, but be willing to move through what no longer serves you. Now, it comes down to this. There's a lot of theorizing going on. It's time for the rods to be thrown down. Now, you may say, what are you talking about, throwing down the rods? Do you remember the story of Moses? The Moses who is Akhenaten. I'm not going to take this time in this message to teach that, but Moses was an indigenous African of the influenced by the culture of the Nile Valley civilizations. I say that because I don't want to necessarily just say he was an Egyptian, because even though the scriptures say that he was an Egyptian, I want us to move beyond using that term Egyptian. I want to move beyond that. I want us to use terms like Nile Valley civilization, because Egypt was the conglomeration of a lot of cultures coming together. But when you go further up the Nile, south on the Nile, which is north, which is our true north, south, when we go up there, like when we go home, where we go? Down south, for those in North America. And I'm saying we need to recapture the entire blue and white Nile, all of it. We need to recapture the entire continent of Africa, because we will find on the west coast of Africa, the south and southern parts of Africa, the northern part of Africa, which because of the Sahara Desert and it's expanding, we've lost a lot of what that culture had to give us. But I am saying that it's time for us to recapture. Now, the story of Moses, I'll use Moses. You're familiar with Moses. He was commissioned by God, source, to go back into Egypt and to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. Now, some people have taken that story and owned that story and said it meant for a small group of people. That's not true. That's taking a historical event, overlaying it with your story, and becomes a mystery. The story of Moses is an actual truth story, but is not found. If you look up Moses, you won't find anything historical about Moses. That's why they tell you in the Bible that you can't find his bones. Because if you can't find the bones, then guess what? You can't do the trace. And if I tell you can't find them, you're going to look for them. But the story of Moses, we see that Moses is commissioned, like many of you are commissioned to do something. You're commissioned to do something not outside of yourselves, but within yourselves. You have to free yourself from the prison that is you're inside of, your sensory realm, your past experiences. And Source is saying, let my person go. And when we look at Moses, he goes back, but before he went back, he had a true God encounter. And in the God encounter, he asked God, who shall I say sent me? He says, I am that I am. Now, he says also, I need some proof. And he gave him some power. And so, you know the story. He went into Egypt and he had a conversation with the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh did not want to let him go because the Pharaoh, according to this story, this narrative, the Pharaoh didn't want to let him go. So what is meant to happen will always happen. The divine intervention of Source will always take place. Now, what happens? We see there, there was a variety of things that Moses did. One of the things that always got my attention was when Moses, the priest of the Pharaoh, threw down their rods. Check this out. Moses throws down his rod. He carried his rod. It's his instruction. He threw him down on the ground and it turned into a snake. Now, there's some symbolism there that we must come to understand. The snake represents part of the Kundalini, the power that's within you, the power to ascend to connect with the divine source and to do divine things. And so he throws down his rod. And then the Pharaoh at that time supposedly laughed at him and said, that's a cheap magician's trick. That's child's play. All the Egyptians, the Kemetic priests, knew how to throw their rods down and turn them into snakes. So they threw their rods down. But something happened. When they threw their rods down, Moses' snake gobbled up all. And so I'm saying we're at a point where there needs to be a throwdown. There needs to be a showdown. We need to stop giving our people all these theories. Let's put them to practice. Because if we don't put them into practice, you're going to get caught up in all of these conversations. Everybody can make things sound good. But is there any proof? Is there any evidence? Are they showing you anything? I grew up in a time, remember, I call myself a spiritual scientist because at 12 years of age, I said to God, source, divine intelligence, if you are real in my lifetime, show me something. Because anybody can theorize. And through the course of my life, I've seen the power of God. I've seen how Source operates. I've seen how I've come to the realization that I am divinely designed to be a conduit through which Source can work through me, as me. I've called those things that were not as though they were, and they became. I was sick and I couldn't get well, spoke the word of health, of healing over my body, and it came to pass. Not only in my life, had people standing at the altar, a woman standing at the altar, unbeknownst to me, I prayed for a particular situation, and she said to me, Pastor, you did not know it, but she said, in a not too distant past, you prayed for me. You didn't know I had a lump on my breast. I returned to the doctor. The doctor said it was gone. The prayer of faith changes things. Now, I don't use the prayer of faith to change those things that people need to faithfully go through. I don't use the prayer of faith to circumvent the events of your life or the what is necessary. We talked about transformation from the caterpillar to the butterfly. The caterpillar needs to crawl on the ground. The caterpillar needs to go through what it's growing through in order that when it is entombed in the cocoon, that it has the ability, the strength to break out. Everything that preceded that point of its transition prepared it for the transition. So I say to you, things are always working out for you, even when they don't appear to be working out for you. Guess what? Things are working out for you. The scripture says, I like to use the scripture. The scripture says all things, not some things, Everything works together for the good of those who love the Lord. The word Lord means law. Loves the universal principles, lives inside of them, practices a form of ma'at. Now he says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. And here it is, the conjunction and. You can love the law, but if you're not conjuncting to this, all things work together for the good of those who love the law and are called. That means you are doing what you were designed to do. You are aligned with your soul path and are called according to its will. Come on now. Its will, Source's will, was that you come here and that you willfully say, here I am, use me. And now the Spirit descends into you and Source can fully exercise through this realm as you. But very few of us will allow Source to fully encapsulate us, to fully expand through us, that it can operate as us. Some of it is due to sin consciousness, saying that, hey, I am not worthy. All of these things we are taught, born in sin, shaped in iniquity. That's not my story. That's not your story. That is taken from the open diary of David, when he said, I am shaped in sin, born in iniquity. You don't even know why he was saying that. I'm not going to use time to share with you right now, but David was saying that because of how he perceived his birth to come forth. He thought that he was the child of an adulterous relationship. Now, how many of us as children, not knowing what really has gone on in our life, and the narrative has been given to us, like David's bigger brothers gave him a narrative. The world has given you a narrative. Our pastors have given us narratives. Our teachers have given us narratives. Our educators have given us narratives. Society has given us narratives. But whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe what man says, or are you going to listen to what Source is saying? Deep inside of each of you, you know there's something inside of you that says that you can do more, be more, and you can even have more. Something inside of you says that sickness and disease should not be my lot in life. No, it's not your lot in life. It may be something you express and something that you experience, and only to see that now, without the contrast, you don't get to see the power of God. You don't get to see the ability you have. Unless you go through, grow through, you don't know that you can get through. Now, I told you I got to go somewhere this morning. So I want to give you this. The word says, faith without works is dead. And I stopped by to tell you that faith works if you work it. Come on. It works if you work it. Working it don't mean you're just holding that intention for 2 days. Working it doesn't mean that you're only trying to use the law or the law of attraction to amass something that will bring you joy. Working it means having an understanding of how it all works, and then being present to the practical application that life school brings you. Come on now. You got to understand that if you learn, when you go to schools of higher learning, I have a graduate degree. Part of my graduate degree had to do with sitting in the classroom, learning various theories. Then another part of my graduate degree required me to do a practicum. I actually had to see if I knew how to apply all that I had led up to. Another part of that was not only a practicum, but a thesis. I had to write some things in support of what I was ascribing. But here in our spiritual walks, here in our daily walks, even those who don't even consider themselves inside of the spiritual conversation, but let's say you are an LOA person, a law of attraction person, and you talk about the ability to attract, all those kinds of things. But when do you put it to work? And then when you're putting it to work, when do you document? This is how I did it. See, we got all this woo-woo going on, but I'm saying that if you understand the law, the principles, and you practice them, That's the working of them. Faith without works is dead, is useless. A person who says they have faith but can't show me their faith is a faithless person to me. Come on now. We live in a day and age where we no longer have to stand on faith for healing. We can go take our medical cards and we can go to the local doctor. That's cool. That's the lazy way. Okay, that's the convenient way. But in that way, it's the instant way. It's the way that has caused us to lose the power that was once ours. When we look at our grandparents, our great-grandparents, there was a time where they had to depend on the intuitiveness of knowing which herbs to give their children. Or even when the herbs wasn't present, to pray the prayer of faith, to hold the intention that through the night, the child would make it, and the child made it. So I'm saying to you, medical science is fine. All the convenience is fine. If that's what you want to lean into, fine. But when you lean into those things, have you ever taken the opportunity when you get that prescription to look on the prescription and says, warning, this may cause death. This may cause blindness. This may cause a variety of things. Hell, I'll say to myself, I'm better off just having a headache than put myself at risk for all these things. But where I'm going with this is simply that we must begin to walk by faith. We must begin to walk by, and faith isn't some fantasy. I know it's a world of fantasy for some people. Imagination and fantasy is not the same thing. Understanding the principles of the imaginary mind, how to use the principles of the imaginary mind, is a powerful thing. The word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Learning how to control your thoughts through your imagination, learning how to hold intentions. That's what Oasis Spiritual Center is all about. It's a practical, applied faith. If it don't work, we stop working it. But you have to be intentional and deliberate to say, I'm working this principle. I'm putting certain practices into play. I'm monitoring. You have to be a spiritual scientist. You got to have a hypothesis. And you got to have all those other things. I forgot all the things, all the steps. Maybe Cheryl can type them in here. All the steps to an experiment. An experiment is the taking your experience to an outward experience. And an experience, something that is intuitively told you, now you put it to play. And then you see that it works. Now, sometimes we get something intuitive and we don't stick around. We don't get down and listen to what's really being said. And we run off half shot. But I'm saying when the Spirit speaks to you, you have to listen. And then you end with this, is there more? Then you begin to interpret that. Then you begin to put it to play deliberately and intentionally. This week, I woke up one morning. I think it was Monday morning, because I was supposed to do the prayer line on Monday morning. And I think it was Monday morning of this past week. And I woke up at 3:33. And the Spirit was speaking to me. I had a dream. And I could feel in my home a presence, as if this presence was trying to elicit fear into me. And I heard the Spirit says, it's time to tell the people that the energy, negative energy, is very real as light energy or positive energy. But you have to know where you put your focus is where you will get your outcome. So I remember during the course of being in between being awake and being asleep, I remember saying, I'm a person of the light. I'm a person of the light. And then I ultimately got up out the bed and I cut a couple lights on in the house. I was doing a couple things and I ended up reading something for about 2 hours. Then I went back to sleep. So I'm saying to you all, we are at that point, at the intersection of time, where the old is decreasing and the new is desiring to increase. We can no longer hold on to what was given to us. We must now take that which was given to us and take it to practice. If it doesn't work, let it go. Release it. That's what I hear God saying today. I hear him saying, let my people go. And who is holding our people? Old beliefs, old thoughts, old experiences. Be open to the experience you are creating or you are manifesting. You are the manifester. You are not the creator. Everything that can ever be created, will ever be created, is already created in the realm of none, or in the realm of the quantum field, the zero field. Is all there in the unseen realm. It's your responsibility to tune in, tap in, and pull it into this realm, the unseen to the seen. Now you're a manifester. And for those of you who are part of this ministry, particularly those who have been supportive of this ministry, I'm going to gift you an 8-week course, or 8-week. It's not a course. It's actually an 8-week mastermind on manifesting. Stay tuned for that. It's not going to cost you anything. If you're not part of the ministry, I'm going to make it a possibility for you to participate, but it's going to cost you something. Come on now. It's time out for freebies. It's time out for individuals that want to sit on the fence, sit in the backdrop and just observe, not even show up. They're anonymous, numbers not being seen. They're hanging out in YouTube. I don't know who's in the YouTube realm, but it's time out for those who will be in the fly. If you're a fly on the wall, you will not have the same power or the same experience as the individual who's in the room. You remember the story of Jesus. He would often talk to the masses. That's like talking to YouTube. And then he would steal away to the seashore, and only his disciples, only those who were disciplined, only those who were seeking to know the deeper things would take that sacrificial walk. Part of that sacrificial walk would be just you simply hitting the subscribe button this morning, hitting the bell, say, I want to be notified when this brother comes on. Part of the sacrifice is if you're in the Chicagoland area to say, I'm going to get my clothes on and I'm going to get to the Embassy Suites on Lombard, out in Lombard on 22nd Street. I'm going to get there by 11 o'clock. That's a sacrifice. That's faith in action. That's expectation. The woman with the issue of blood, 12 years, she tried pills. She tried potions. She tried dietary. She was a vegetarian, probably. Tried all these things. But that 12th year, she heard that there was a power moving through the land. And she said, if I can only touch the hem, the HEM of him. And see, that was expectation. See, if your actions don't align with your expectation, you got to do something, not just say something. Come on. It's not just saying it, but doing it. It's not just saying it, but being it. Neville Goddard talks about that. Living from the end to the beginning, as if it's already happened. That's what this ministry is all about. That's what this ministry is all about. Now, I just got a message from somebody said, is it 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock? The one thing I know that I do well is I send emails out with the right information. If you want to get here, it starts at 11 a.m. You have time to get here. If you're in Chicagoland area, if you're even an hour away, you have time to get here. Faith in action. The woman with the issue of blood had a need. The father who had a daughter that was lying sick and dying had a need. Jairus, he understood the power of the spoken word. He came to Jesus. He said, my daughter lies home sick, dying. If you would just speak the word. Jesus said, I'll do one better. I'll join you there. He said, no, you ain't got to take time out. But Jesus was showing him from this biblical story, is showing you that the word can be sent, but the word with action is also required. Sometimes we just want to speak the word and don't want to do anything. No, let your actions align with what you're speaking. That's what I'm saying this morning. So I'm saying to my cultural community, to my Okay, the cultural community is a level of conscious community. To my Christian community, to my comedic community, to my New Thought community, all of y'all are saying, talking loud, but showing me nothing. Now, not everybody, there's some people out there that's doing some things, but I'm saying this morning. Let's stop getting caught up in vain genealogies. Let's stop getting caught up in histories that is according to history, and it's still a mystery. Now, there's some people that are doing some good work out there. There's some people I follow. I follow your Infidishis. I follow your Dr. Khamenei. I follow individuals, Wayne Nobles. I follow individuals who are doing great work, who are giving me information. Information just gives you inspiration. But until you take the information to application, you're still powerless. Somebody says, question, problem. Oh, there it is. What is the scientific method? You have a question or a problem. You do the research. You have a hypothesis. You establish a procedure. You conduct an experiment. You gather all your information and you do an investigation and you do a final analysis for the results and you communicate your results. And my result is watch me, eyes on me, watch me. And that's what you should be saying to the world. Eyes on me. Come on now. That's how we change the world. Show them something. Stop telling us something. Social media is based on telling us something or shiny objects. People will show you something, but they can't tell you how they did it, and they can't duplicate it. They can't replicate it. But that's what the word says. When I've had much, I was great. I was content. When I had little, I content. Even though I was content, I did not become complacent. I know that things change. In a twinkling of an eye, you can have everything and have nothing in a twinkling of an eye. But if you know the process, if you've done the research, if you conducted experiments, if you've done the investigations, if you analyze your results, when things happen that wipes you out, you will take it as a fun time to begin again. Most people don't want to begin again, but sometimes you have to begin again. So it's all about throwing down your rods. Well, I got to get myself together for my 11 o'clock here in Oak Brook or Lombard, Illinois. I hope something has been said that's uplifting and encouraging to you all. Join me on Tuesday night for Transformation Tuesday, where I'll take a deeper dive into this whole thing. So my message this morning was hocus pocus, my message this morning is hocus pocus, where is your focus? For those who are coming here this morning, I have a special word for you. My message for those who have jumped in on this conversation is about evidence. Does your life show enough evidence? The church isn't showing evidence. That's why the only people are showing up at church are those who are still hoping and expecting evidence. But the world says we've had enough time. I'm not seeing the evidence. And sometimes they're not giving evidence because they're not working the procedures properly. I'm saying across the board, to my cultural community, to my comedic community, what good does me knowing Ma'at do? What good does me being aware of the 42 declarations do? What good does it do me to know that we were once a great people? Now, I'm being rhetorical. I know there's some good, but it's not in the outward conversation. Got too many people, too many misfits running around here with all these messages. Haven't applied anything. They just have other people's information, repackaging it. Come on, it's time to go up. It's time to grow up. Well, I want to go move over to the green room right quick. If there's any questions, any feedback, go ahead, put it right here in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I'm looking here in the, and I want to thank Cheryl, my scientist, for giving me the process. Great rising from Florida. Thank you for this teaching. My first visit. I will be back. Keep on coming back. Angela, thank you. Make sure you hit the links so that way you can get on the mailing list. My number is 708-368 1076 708 368 1076. That's the number to the ministry. If you desire to be a blessing to this ministry today, you can go to your Zelle and type in 708 368 1076. That's Zelle. Or you can go to the website, oasisspiritualcenter.com. And you can go to giving, and there's platforms. You can give by PayPal. You can give by Cash App. You can give by text to give. You can become a partner and have a automatic giving procedure through our Tithely app. So there's ways to sow a seed. So I'm going to go over here. It's good to see you, Amir. Again, today it's good to see you, Angela. Good to see you, Mom. Good to see you, Courtney. Good to see you, Cheryl. Good to see you, Takesha. It's good to see you, Tia. I hope something was said that was uplifting and encouraging to all of you. And those of you who are in the YouTube room, it's good to see you. Now, is there one person out there that will come in and say, what is a takeaway you walk away with this morning? Come on in. I would like to have at least one person participate this morning by raising your hand, coming in and sharing what's your takeaway, or if you got a question. I like to end with at least some dialogue. So I'm not talking to air. Can I get one hand? There it is. Good morning, Courtney. You have the mic. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I didn't even mean to hit that button, but I'm so glad I did. I'm just really thankful for you basically calling us out and saying, hey, does your life reflect the evidence? And, in order for us to be able to say the things that we say, at what point are we going to be able to demonstrate it? At what point are we going to be able to provide documented proof that this thing really does work? And so that should be the motivation. That should be what we're attempting to do. It's not just about speaking empty words, making people feel good. It really is about the demonstration, the evidence that comes forth.
Yes, I like that. And one thing I like about you, you're a spiritual practitioner. Yes. We've had long conversations, and it brings frustration because as you are doing what Cheryl tells us, that we got to do some research. We got to go through procedures. We got to conduct experiments. Life gives us experiments. Okay, you think you got it down, and all of a sudden you lose it all again. Now you go, do you get upset? Do you throw in the towel and say, this shit don't work? Or do you go, let me see, maybe I'm doing something wrong. It worked before. Let me see if I can get it to work. Now we want to get to the place where it sticks and stays. Yeah. Come on, it sticks and stays. And if it do go away, we know how to get it back.
Absolutely. I've learned some valuable lessons. Thank you.
Yes. And see, that prepares you to, when you encounter people that want to say, Courtney, I knew you win. How did you do it? You won't say, well, I just prayed or God gave it to me. No, God didn't give it to you. You are the God that manifested that thing. You just don't know that you follow certain steps.
Yes.
That's what we got to do. So thank you, Courtney. Thank you. Awesome. I got another hand here. Good morning, Cheryl. You have the mic. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well.
Awesome.
Hope everyone is well. The main idea is show me your evidence, or the movie was show me the money, show me something. We're in Missouri. I'm in Missouri.
The show me state.
It is the show me state. Show me something. Talking loud and saying nothing. I say that all the time. Show me. I'm watching what you are doing. Show me.
Yes. Now that's interesting. For those of you who don't know, Cheryl, I date Cheryl. Cheryl is in St. Louis, and the way we met, I was minding my own business, posted up at the world's largest in Atlanta, Georgia. I was there that weekend I normally do their Sunday services, and I had just stepped back into the main ballroom with upwards of 5,000 or more people in there. I was sitting there minding my own business, watching all the flies, not the flies, but watching all the flowers walk by. And all of a sudden she come whizzing in the door, and she had the audacity to ask me, can you dance? Now, I didn't know her from anybody. And I said, I can show you better than I can tell you. Didn't know she was from the Show Me State. And that was when we had our God encounter. And so I'm going to say to you, you never know when you will have the chance meeting that will change your life. And so she is from the Show Me State. So I was just using that because she bring that, but she may not realize that that was the initial conversation we had. I can show you better than I can tell you. And I'm saying to those of you who are following this ministry, my goal is to be able to show you better than I can tell, to show and tell, and to let my life be an example. Come on now, not on the backs of the people, but using the principles that what I use, you use, and you practice, you get this, you should get the same outcomes. Thank you. Awesome. Now, I hope somebody got what they came to get this morning. Hold them to accountability. Next time you're talking to someone who is espousing anything, ask them, can you show me the evidence in your life? Not in your grandmama's life, not in the individual who wrote the philosophy. In your life, can you bring it into contemporary time? Call now. That's all I have. I got to get out of here. I got to get dressed. I got to get ready for the Chicago gathering this morning, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you can get here, be here. Peace. I'm out. As you go into this day, know that things are always working out for you. Even when they don't appear to be working out for you, things are working out for you. I enjoyed my time with you this morning, and I hope you enjoyed your time with me. I'll leave you with Yolanda Adams, A Song of Faith.
Can't let it get you down.
Can't let it get you down.
Get you down. Can't let it get you down. Just when everything seems to be going all right.
Peace to my YouTube family. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. And if all is well, sow a seed. Not for greed, not for need, because you understand the principles of circulating, circulating. Hey, Amir, I see your hand there. How's it going? I didn't see it until late, but if you're still with me, jump on in this conversation.
I'm just here to see you.
Okay, let me turn that down a little bit. 1 second, kind sir.
Have you ever felt the need to get away from it all?
All right, sir, what's happening?
I am in a place of divine love.
Yes.
So it's a good thing to know when you're home.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Asar, for showing me home.
Awesome. And I want to thank you for the conversation you had last week coming forth. We don't know each other from Adam, but you came forth in a very transparent way. And somebody had just had a conversation with me about keeping the backroom conversations on the edits and not to edit them out, because after I did that, somebody who caught it on the YouTube channel stuck around and they said they were really blessed by your conversation. So I'm just learning to be, you can do things the way the system says. After you create something, you edit out all that's not needed. But sometimes it's a thing that you will edit out is the very thing that the whole presentation was about. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I also have to realize that I found the etymology of Asar, and it truly identifies you.
Excellent. And that's why I use that term. I want people to search. It's about transformation. I am the Lord of transformation. I'm Asar, you are Asar, we are all Asar as men. The women, they are a set.
That's it.
And we have to understand that it works in a dance, in a balance. One is not better than the other. The resurrection of Asar, who is the Lord of the resurrection, could not have taken place without the cultivation of his sister wife, Aset. And they produced that child of a vengeance, Haru. And we are all Haru, Aset, Asar at the same time. the Holy Trinity. All right. Thank you, my brother. We'll stay in chat, but I got to get to that. That is my next. All right.
Enjoy. Blessings.
All right. Peace.
The sky